Good morning. My name is Jasmine. I am an inner work coach, which is just a cool way of me saying that I am here to help you learn to love your life and love your relationship. And today we are going to be talking about a key that is going to help to fix your relationship. If you are struggling with your friends and your family not liking your man, something just seems off with him in the relationship and you're not really sure what's going on, or if you're starting to resent your partner, this is going to absolutely help to fix your relationship. So the key is speaking highly of your partner. I know for me personally, when me and Tyreek first started dating, I grew up in a stricter, like I've said before, I grew up in a stricter household. So I wasn't allowed to date. So if I was dating in high school, I was dating secretively. And me and Tyreek started talking to each other like soon after that. So that transition from not being able to date to being allowed to date was weird because I was used to hiding things, kind of sneaking around. And now all of a sudden, like technically I'm allowed to have a relationship. And one thing that I was comfortable doing in life was complaining. So I'm like, okay, I may not know how to talk about a relationship, but I do know how to complain in general. So I would spend all my time complaining to family and friends about my relationship, and this is going to be the first reason that this is so important to make sure that you start to incorporate speaking highly of your partner, because it affects the relationship that they have with your friends and your family. My mom at the time, because me and Tyreek broke up and then we started dating again, but my mom had never met him and didn't hear anything about him from me because, like I said, I was not used to talking about relationships. And I remember I was talking to her about him once I started to get more comfortable talking about my relationships. And she was like, I just don't really know about this guy because I talked to your siblings about him and they don't like him. And I was sitting there like, first of all, why would my siblings throw me under the bus like that and tell my mother that they don't like this guy? I guess they were trying to protect me or whatever. But I was like, when did they even have this conversation? And I didn't even know that my siblings were still holding a grudge to everything that had happened before. And the thing is that Tyreek wasn't really doing anything crazy prior to us getting back together again. He was just very chill and nonchalant, and he was very detached, and I did not like that. And we both he had to work on becoming more attached, and I had to work on becoming more detached, which is again the attachment styles that I always talk to you guys about. But we both had to work on kind of coming towards the middle, because I was used to be like on someone, like super codependent, and he was used to doing his own thing, being off in his own space. So when we were talking before we broke up, I was so annoyed at this. So annoyed, guys. I'm like, I don't like the fact that he's attached. He's not texting me enough. He's not calling me enough. So I would spend all my time complaining to my friends and to my siblings, who are like my besties, about my relationship and about Tyreek and how much I would be angry and annoyed. And I would not say a single good thing about this man. My sister was like, Jasmine, I have not heard you say a single good thing about him. Like, I don't like him. Like, there's nothing. Of course, your friends and your family, when they don't hear anything positive about your partner, are going to start to not like him. So think about, if you have been complaining about your partner, if you spend more time complaining about your partner than saying the good things, it's really easy, especially when you start to get in the habit of it, to speak negatively about your partner to your friends and your family, and to complain, especially if you go to your friends and your family for like support and you just need to rant and you need to vent. Problem is you will forgive your partner. Your friends will not. They will always remember every single little thing that man did to impact your life. They're going to remember it. And since you keep talking about all the different things that he's doing that you hate, they're going to build up a dislike and a resentment for your man. So even if they never met him, because like I said, I don't think my siblings had met him, but they did not like that man. And it took a while for them to build up trust once I was able to start saying good things about him. So start speaking highly of your partner in front of your friends and your family. This is not to say that you need to make things up, but when you speak highly of your partner, it's saying things that are true. Get used to feeling cringy, like especially if you're not used to doing this. It can feel really like icky and like you're bragging, and that was always my issue, especially if I was in a relationship and my friends and my family weren't. It's like, oh, he's so sweet, he did this for me today and he did that for me. And one way that I felt like I was connecting with people was by complaining, because I'm like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend, but like he sucks, like you don't want one of these. But it's like he did in certain aspects, but so did I. But it's like he didn't suck really. So tell them the truth. Tell them if you woke up and you got like a really nice good morning text. If he went out of his way to pick you up from a party, like tell them all the good things that he does on just a daily basis. And it doesn't necessarily, like, I would be careful of your friends and your family, that when you tell them good things about your partner, and their first and only response is that's the bare minimum. Because it's not to say that you need to celebrate every single thing, like, yay, when he woke up, like he gave me a kiss on my forehead, like, oh yay, he gave me a hug when I saw him. Not to say that we should normalize like the bare minimum being something to be excited for, but you're going to want to look at the good things in your partner. You're going to want to remember the good things about your partner, because when you speak about the good things about your partner, it helps you in your relationship, which brings me to number 2. When you speak highly of your partner, it is going to help how you view your partner. That is so important. It's so important. When you start to complain and complain and complain, you're going to start to notice more things to complain about. You're going to start to get more irritated, more frustrated that the things that you're complaining about aren't changing. And I used to always say, there's like, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but for me, let's say that I am not a fan of someone. Like, I'm just like, I don't like them. Like, I'm not a fan of them. They get on my nerves. They're annoying. And you're not saying anything about it. Like, let's say it's a coworker. So you're not saying anything about the fact that this coworker is getting on your nerves. And then you hear somebody else, like a different coworker, be like, oh my gosh, Kelly is so annoying. Like, I cannot believe that Kelly did this, this, and this. And you're like, yeah, oh my God, Kelly sucks. And you're like, I cannot believe that Kelly's doing this and doing that. I thought I was the only one with this opinion. So you guys start talking about Kelly, and now every single thing that Kelly does, you can talk to that person about. And it builds a point of connection for you and that other person. And so you start to notice more things, and you start to talk about more things. And now every single, before it was like the slight irritation that you could deal with, now every single thing that Kelly do pissed you off. Like, you were just like, oh, I cannot freaking stand Kelly. The same thing will happen with your partner. When you start to complain to your friends and your family, you get in this loop of, number one, we don't want to complain in life in general. That's something I'm absolutely working on. But complaining in life in general, ugh. But when you start to complain about your partner a lot, you build up momentum of complaining, you're going to start to dislike your partner. And it's going to be in subtle ways, where then your friends and your family, like I said, first point, are going to be thinking, do they even like this guy? Like, he sounds like he sucks. So yes, when you focus on the bad things about your partner, you are going to notice the bad things about your partner. You need to stop trying to fix them. That could be a whole different video in and of itself. You need to stop trying to fix your partner. That's not your role. And the problem is that we start picking up things that we're like, oh, I want to help them with this, I want to help them with that. When you're a woman that is in your feminine energy, you don't have to speak and dictate and teach a man in order to help him progress in life. Your presence, you leveling up, you being in your body and in your feminine energy is going to have him level up naturally. It's like the standards that you have, he's going to know that in order to take care of you, in order to keep up with you, he is going to have to level up his life. Either that, or he's going to start to fall off, that are going to cause distance in the relationship, and God will keep pulling distance in that relationship till it's time to break it off. But for a partner that is going to level up with you, just you being you at your best and at your fullest is going to cause him to need to level up his life. You don't have to speak it over him, like tell him what to do. So part of the problem is we get in this mode where we're like, well, I just want to help them. Like if he's wearing a red shirt instead of a blue shirt and you know that he looks better in blue, it's like, well, you know, I'm just trying to tell him that he looks better in blue. He doesn't want to wear the blue shirt. So you're nagging him and telling him, you need to wear a blue shirt, you need to wear a blue shirt. He's not listening. He puts on the red shirt. Now you're annoyed. You go back, talk to your friends, talk to your siblings, your cousins, and you're like, he literally never listens to me. Like he doesn't know how to dress, he doesn't know how to do this, and he just does not pay attention to anything that I'm telling him to. So now your friends and your family are affected, and now you're also super annoyed because you're looking at all the things that he's not telling you to do. But that morning when you got up, made you breakfast, or he sent you a coffee, or like paid for your food or something like that, and there's something that you could have been telling someone, but you decided to focus on the thing that you didn't like. I read in a book one time where it said, isn't it funny how we are comfortable disrespecting the person that is closest to us that we should be respecting the most? We will give more respect to a celebrity that we like, that we've never met before, than we will give to the partner who is the most important person in your life. And I sat there like, dang, that's so true. Once you get comfortable with someone, you're like, eh. But a stranger, you would never talk to a stranger like that. So practice respecting your partner, and respecting your partner also has to do with how you speak about them. So number 3 is it's going to impact how they view themselves. You should be practicing speaking highly of your partner in front of your family and friends while they are not there. It is also important that you speak highly of your partner in front of your family and friends when they are there. Speak highly of them in front of your family and friends, in front of their family and friends, in front of their coworkers, in front of strangers, because this is going to help to boost their ego. Now, you may be saying, why on God's green earth would I cater to a man's ego? Because that is your partner, and you want to build something with them, and you love them, or you're learning to love them, or you're falling in love with them. And that is going to help your relationship. Why would you stop doing something that is going to help your relationship just because everybody is saying, oh, don't cater to a man's ego? Why would I cater to a man's ego? You're listening to what everybody else is saying about relationships, and it's slowly crippling and destroying your relationship. It's like if men were like, this one gets on my nerves, where they're like, why do I need to compliment you? You already know that you look good. It's like, well, who the heck told you that was okay? Like, literally, ew. But it's the same thing for them. Like, we want compliments. They don't have to compliment us technically, and we don't have to cater to their ego technically, but it's going to boost your relationship. It's good for your relationship, and it helps your partner feel good. So literally, why not? So your partner may not feel comfortable with you talking about them in general, and it may feel weird. So you have to figure out a way to do it in a way that's authentic. Like if you're sitting at a dinner table with his family, don't just be like, guys, oh my gosh, you know, Tyreek called me sweetie this morning and gave me a hug and a kiss on the forehead. Isn't that sweet? Like, no. An example is, let's say that he just got promoted at work and he hasn't said anything to anyone, but you're standing next to his cousin who he hasn't seen in a while, and he hasn't mentioned it to him yet, and you're like, yeah, did you know that got promoted at work? And it's like, yeah, he's doing such a great job at work. Like, they really like him, they really appreciate him, da 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 da. Like, it doesn't have to be something that's so up in your face. It can be subtle with you talking highly of them, with you, they're next to you. They don't even have to necessarily be in the conversation. But that is going to boost their ego and build their morale, because they're like, if she's talking positively about me in front of me, I also know that she's talking positively about me behind my back. those are the three things that it's really going to help you, like the three areas where this is going to affect. This is going to help just with protection of your relationship. It's going to protect just your and their view of the relationship. And when you speak highly about your partner, it protects those outside people that are trying to get into your relationship. It protects you from that. I remember I had a coworker that knew Tyreek's name and knew how to pronounce it. And he would keep pronouncing the name wrong. And I'm like, letting it go, because like I said, I'm a non-confrontational person, and I would just lightly correct. And I'm like, they would call the wrong name and I would be like Tyreek, and they would call the wrong name and I would do it again. And there was one time where I corrected him and he was like, oh, Tyreek, whatever he called him before, nah, whatever. And I remember being like, oh, you are not about to disrespect my man like that, especially in front of me. Like, if I was disrespecting your partner, someone that you cared about like that, you would be going off. So I had to correct that, because people will push to see what they can get away with. And so it protects you on that side, but it also protects them on the other side. There's, those movies, and I always pay attention to it in movies, where the girlfriend, the wife, she is sitting there speaking so negatively about the partner, and like, you can't do anything, like, you never do anything right, why don't you go get a job, you're never gonna amount to anything, like, I'm so sick of you, I would break up with you if I had a chance, da 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 da. And then this girl, oh my gosh, you know what, it was in Love is Blind. It was in Love is Blind. I don't remember, dang, which person was it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember the person, but it was the girl, and I think it was the last season, where yes, Hannah and Nick, where Hannah spent the entire time, tearing down Nick, criticizing Nick. And if you watch the show, like, she really was going in on this man. And then Nick, they had that mixer thing, and then Nick, I don't remember the other girl's name, but Nick was having that conversation with the other girl, and she sat there and she was like, well, you're so, Hannah's friend, Hannah's bestie, but she was like, no, Nick, you're so, I just knew that you were a really mature man, that you use this as a mask, and that you're really more forthcoming than you are, you're really more mature than you are, and da-da-da-da-da. And you know what she was doing? Speaking life over him. And the thing is that you cannot start to speak life over a man, because one way that you can help to build up your partner and help to, like, teach your partner like we want to do, instead of doing the nagging method and approach, that is one of the ways, that is one of the ways that you can inspire a man to start to do things, where if he is not doing what you want him to do, you can speak life over the situation and be like, no, I just know that you may be acting immature, but I know deep down that you really are a mature person. Like, I see these moments, point out key moment, where you are acting mature and you have that in you. It's just you're using whatever. So you can have a conversation about the deeper root and move on from there, and instead of trying to coach him into what he needs to do. But you can't speak life over your partner like that if you have been speaking negatively about them this entire time. Because if you've been sitting here calling him a child, and it's like, well, I know you're not a child. It's like, girl, get out of my face. Like that, that's not accurate. So, she was able to sit there, speak life into him, and and you can see it, like, feminine and masculine energy are so real, because she used her feminine energy and how she spoke to him to kind of like literally like puff him up. Like, you could see like his chest go up, and he's like, yeah, I am that type of man, I am mature, I am this, I am that. And then went back when he was speaking to Hannah and was like, well, I don't, I did and like had a little oomph about him. And you get that oomph because your partner speaks life into you. So if you spend all your time speaking negatively about your partner, it's going to just tear them down. Your words are so important to a man. They are so important. You want to build your man's ego up for him and for you. So you want to protect, that's what I was saying. Tangent. Protect your relationship from other women getting to do that for your man. That is your role in your position. Not Susie in HR that's sitting there talking about he's his work wife. That's not her role. Tell her you can't even be mad if she's doing all of that if you're not doing that. Why are you mad that she's speaking positively about your man and you're not doing it? So, I love you guys so much. Try to do this for a while and let me know how it goes. If you have any other things that you are struggling with in your relationship, please leave them in the comments below and then I can make a video about those. I love y'all so much and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.